Literally screaming down the backstretch.
Hoping.
Hoping. Yeah. Oh yeah. That's. I mean, that's.
I almost
Take
did
it
it
how
for
you can get
almost
it, man.
did it for you.
Oh, yeah. What a day. What a race. I hope that was entertaining because that was really stressful. But obviously a pretty wild day for Discount Tire Ford Mustang. Involved on a wreck in lap 1. Repaired the damage throughout the entire race. Probably passed 60 some odd cars throughout the race, and I don't think I'm exaggerating that number. And then when it comes down to it, obviously we're able to get there at the end. So that's a lot of perseverance from our team from the entire weekend. Obviously, wrecking a primary in practice, going to a backup car, which Team Penske, I don't think of as backup cars. I think of as second cars because, I mean, to finish third in the backup car is just incredible. So I'm just really grateful to be able to be sitting here, but still got to win a race to make it to Homestead.
Additional questions here? We'll go to Bob.
Every wreck happened in front of me.
Bob Hunkers, ESPN. Tyler, I assume your team had known that you wouldn't be back next year before this week, but what has been the dynamic with, I mean, do you feel like you have any teammates out there? Do you feel you have more than just your current teammates out there? What's it been like having made the decision to make the move?
I mean, all it's done is set what 2019 holds in stone. Really hasn't changed anything within my own team. You know, me and Justin seem fine. Me and Elliott seem fine too, and Michael as well. Like they may know where I'm going, and you know we were a good team together. They're excited. They're happy for me, obviously. But we still work together as a team. And this weekend, we leaned heavily on what the one car was doing, and I think Justin did too. We both weren't exactly where we wanted to be in first practice, and even second practice just wasn't very good. So we just wholesaled it in the middle of the second practice and made 4 laps at the end, and still wasn't very happy. So it didn't really give us a good feeling going into the race today, but we qualified really well, and the car ran pretty good all day long. So just that's what teamwork is all about. We were able to adjust our car and make it a lot better for the race today.
Right over here.
Pete Horonis, Race Talk Radio here in Dallas. Just out of curiosity, for both of you guys, coming off of turn number 2, it just seemed like there was just a sweet spot on the track where you could run, and if you got out of that groove, either way, your car just loosened up and you started losing spots. Is that a pretty accurate statement for coming off of turn 2 or not?
It's just so flat, and with a repave like this, the fine line is exactly that. It's a fine line, and you step over it, and there's really no recovery from that. Here at Texas, and what I remember the past before it was repaved, the bottom of turn 2 was like that very much so. Once the front end took off on the old track, it would just take off. So it's not really changed. Just now, it seems like before you could slide up into still what was raceable racetrack and track that was used, and now it's dusty, dirty racetrack, and there's really no area to recover. So it's very treacherous. You gotta get all you can get off that corner because that's the minimum speed around the entire lap. So getting back to the throttle is very important, but at the same time, it can put you in a very bad spot and potentially tear up some pretty good stuff.
Go to Chris, then to Wolfgang.
Chris, NightCatchFence.com. Austin, just wondering if you could walk us through that incident with Christopher Bell, and you guys now find your both in a must-win position, and how do you approach Phoenix next weekend?
Yeah, I've been in a must-win position since lap 1 at Kansas, so for me that hasn't changed. But I mean, I was the car stuck on the bottom with one guy all over my tail and one guy on my door, and obviously I couldn't hold on to the track and moved up 2 inches, and those were the 2 inches that the 20 was off my door. So I think it's just a racing incident. Obviously, I don't think it was anything intentional. We were just racing hard, knowing that he was going to be stuck on the top, and I wanted to be on the bottom, and I don't see anything further than that. Obviously, that's his decision to race hard. He was in a points position, and I was in a must-win position. So I'm not sure there's anything that could have been done different there, but I'm just glad that we didn't get caught up in it. I don't think it's checkers or records. I still got an owner's championship to think about. There's a lot of people that have invested into this 22 car and a lot of success early on in the year. So I've definitely got that in the back of my mind every lap that I do, and the crew does as well. So I'm kind of fighting for 2 things, but a win kind of helps both of them.
Go to Wolfie.
Yeah, question for Austin. just want to double check the damage happened in lap 133 when you touched this bell. Is this correct?
I had damage from lap 1 of the race
Okay.
when they had the big stack up, and then I nursed that damage, and then that damage got worse, and then our contact with the 20 made that damage worse, and so we were basically damage control throughout the entire day.
Yeah, but just looking on the screen when you were racing, I had the impression, maybe I'm wrong, it didn't even slow you much down.
I honestly think we had a race-winning car, and I think that shows in that really the final stint, and that's just a testament to the team, and that's a testament to the work those guys did over the wall, putting braces in the car and being able to get Barabon in the right spots to not really slow us down. I mean, I knew I was compromising a few circumstances, but overall, I think we had an amazing discount tire Ford Mustang today, and just track position, I wasn't able to really capitalize on that, having to really come from the back on nearly every restart. So just an almost day, but it was a lot of fun in the end. Now that I can look back on it and say that I survived. Thank you.
Do we have any additional questions for these gentlemen? Guys, thanks for putting on quite a show today. Good luck next week at ISM Raceway.
Thank you.
Thank you.
If I can have your attention here in the Media Center, we're going to go ahead and continue on with our media availability here in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. And we're joined by today's race-winning crew chief of the number 00 Autodesk Ford, and that's Jeff Mendering. We also have a proud papa on the far end, and also with Stewart Haas Racing, Joe Custer. So we're going to go ahead and open the floor for questions. If you have a question, raise your hand. We'll get a microphone to you. We'll start with Wolfgang. Then we'll go to Bob.
First of all, congratulations for both of you. I have a question to the crew chief. Also, the cars are different, Cup car and Xfinity cars. Did you get, from the engineering point of view, some help from your colleagues from the Cup camp, if necessary?
We use as much information as we can from them. Obviously, the cars are drastically different. The rule packages are quite a bit different, but there's things we could definitely use. I mean, there's some tire information and stuff like that, but we use as much as we can.
Go to Bob and then to Dustin.
Bob Hawkers, ESPN. Jeff, are you planning to turn around this car for Homestead, or do you have a different one for Homestead?
We're going to turn it around now, but it's going to be our backup car. So we'll have a very good backup car in the trailer. But we've got a car that we've designated for Homestead that we're really happy with. Yeah, it did. It actually ran at Vegas.
Come up front here to Dustin.
Dustin Long, NBC Sports. For Joe or Jeff, or both, you can answer this. Obviously, we've seen speed and seen a lot of success out of Cole, but it was always the question about getting that next win. So what did he do today to get that win that maybe hadn't done in the past, or what kind of came together to get that win in that sense that everybody's kind of you've seen the speed, now you got to finish it off?
I mean, he just drove his butt off on that last restart. Honestly, he did good all day long. He stayed aggressive. I mean, we were in a little bit of a point situation. We were down a little bit, and we knew that we had to be aggressive. He knew he had to be aggressive. Or probably in the past that we've always been on the conservative side and tried to points race our way in, and we didn't really have that luxury this time. So he stepped it up and did a great job and stayed aggressive, and I think that's what we can do the rest of the year now. I'm looking forward to Phoenix now for sure.
I think it's been a question all year, getting wins. That's what our owners want. That's what our sponsor. That's what Jabo and Cole. And so we were, I think, as a group, not completely satisfied with the year. Although, when you look at it, several second-place races put ourselves in a position to win races. It just didn't happen. And that's what this series is all about for Stewart Haas Racing. Is going to that next level and finding the little things. And I think having the pressure on from a couple weeks ago just brought everybody's A game. And you saw it in the garage. You'll see it next week. I think it was a pretty good show.
Additional questions for these gentlemen? Go to Jim Utter here in the middle.
Jim Utter, motorsport.com. For Jeff, I was going to ask Cole this when he came in, but he sounded pretty excited out on the track about having a chance to win at Homestead. For you, do you believe that chance is more because of how well you guys performed there a year ago, or because of how much you guys have improved your performance the last half of this season?
Yeah, definitely all of the above on that one. We went to Homestead last year. We had a rookie test we could use, and Homestead was one of the tracks that we used. We learned a lot at that test. With the different body change this year, there's been some things, and there's been a little bit of a learning curve with that, but we've really figured out, our engineers have done a great job. We figured out what changes we need to make to the cars to achieve the same balance with this new body. And I got a lot of confidence going into Homestead. I mean, I feel like we've gotten our cars all the way back to where they were last year, which is tough because you don't have the advantage of a body that you can build and get it to the shape that you wanted. It's basically got a body and put it on there, and you have to work around it. And I feel like we've done a really good job of working around that and getting back to where we were.
We are now joined by the man of the hour, the race-winning driver, Cole Custer, driver of the number 00 Autodesk Ford. We'll continue on with questions with Chris Knight.
Chris Knight, Catchments.com. Cole, just wondering when on that last restart, when Reddick got away, what were you thinking? Did you know that you had enough time to get back to him?
No. I thought it was going to be tough. I knew I had to get it done or make it happen in turns 1 and 2 because it was just hard to pass in 3 and 4 all day. So I drove it into turn 1. I mean, probably 5 car lengths deeper than I have all day, and it worked out somehow. And I was able to get him loose on his bumper and get to his inside. And then I think we were just side drafting down the backstretch, and we just kind of got together. But it worked out in our favor, I guess.
We'll head upstairs to the press box.
Lee Spencer, RacingBoys.com. Congratulations, gentlemen. Jabo, you could almost see Cole taking it up to another level with the second stage. He just kind of went balls out, and then, what he did at the end, because Cole, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, it almost looked like Sadler got into you a little bit going into 1 and 2 on the restart. But can you just, speak to how he's evolved and matured over the 2 years that you've had to work with him? Thank you.
He's done a great job. You can see him getting better and better every week for sure. And I mean, I think we're to a point now. Last year, I mean, we were obviously really good at Homestead, but I didn't feel like going into Homestead that our team and us working together and everything were honestly championship caliber team. But I feel like we're getting to that point now for sure. And the whole team's growing along with Cole, and Cole's doing a great job. He's very solid now, and we had our backs up against the wall a little bit coming into this race points-wise, and he did an awesome job of just stepping it up, and that's what we had to do, and he knew that's what he had to do, and I'm sure we've got a lot more confidence now for the end of the season, so really looking forward to that for sure.
Additional questions for our race-winning team. We'll go to Jim and then to Dustin.
Jim Utter, Motorsport.com. For Cole, I asked Jeff this question. You were pretty adamant on the track after the race that you think you have a chance to win at Homestead. Obviously, you won the race there last year. Is that what gives you your confidence, or do you feel it's just as much as how much you guys have gotten stronger and improved over the second half of this season?
I think we definitely have some confidence going in there. But also, I mean, I think it's just a point of, you got to execute well, and we have a good baseline to go off of from last year, a really good baseline. So things are going to change this year. I think they have a different tire, and we have different body rules, and, who knows if the track's going to be the same. So we got to still stay in our game to make sure it's good. But I think, we have the best baseline out there, and we're going to do our jobs to make sure it's right. And I'm going to make sure I can do my job to make sure I'm driving the car right.
We'll go to Dustin and then to Wolfgang.
Dustin Long, NBC Sports. I got a couple questions. One for Cole. Obviously, in a lot of ways, been a really good season with the speed and success, but certainly wanting to get those wins. So, in one sense, how did you get this win today? What happened today to where today was the day you got the win, where it hadn't happened for one reason or another? Some other places where you have the speed and some different things like that. Did you see anything out of yourself in that sense that was different?
It's such a combination of things, honestly. I mean, I think that's one of the things that gets really frustrating is that, we had this fairly long winless streak, and you just start to question everything that you're doing and if you're doing it right or if you should change something. But it's really, I think there's some of the things that I probably could have done different in the past, maybe to win a couple more races, but it's just, I think today it just kind of worked out, and I was put into the situation to, make something happen, and it worked out. So I think you still got to make sure that when you're in those situations, that you do everything right, but, you gotta put yourself in those situations in the first place.
And for Jeff, obviously anything can happen next week, but as of right now, the two winningest teams or drivers this season are outside the cutoff line. Is that just a case of that's just the playoffs, or how do you look at that, and how careful are you going to be around those guys next week if they're with what they've got at stake?
I mean, I don't know. I'm going. My thought of going into Phoenix is same thing we look at every week. We're just going to win. I mean, that's what we want to do. That's what we work for. But I mean, obviously, the playoffs are tough. I mean, anything can happen, and it happened to us last week, and there's no telling what could happen at Phoenix. But I'm definitely glad that we're in a situation that it doesn't matter to us for Phoenix to go to Homestead. But we're on kill to win that race.
Wolfgang?
A question for Cole. First of all, congratulations for the win. At the start, immediately after the start of the race, we saw there was very heavy wind. Was this an issue during the race or at the beginning of the race?
It seems like from yesterday, I mean, there wasn't much wind, and today there was a lot. It might have affected us a little bit, like in 3 and 4, maybe a little bit looser on the entry and a little bit tighter on the exit, but it wasn't groundbreaking, I wouldn't say.
Any additional questions for our race-winning team? Gentlemen, congratulations on the win. Good luck next week at ISM Raceway, and good luck at Homestead. Do you have a question, Chris?
Chris Knight, catchfence.com.
Chris Knight, catchfence.com. Come on down.
Cole, I just wanted to know, sorry.
Up, take a microphone.
Sorry. Last year at Homestead, you won. Annihilated the field, but your win was kind of overshadowed by the championship and everything that went on there. So his story was kind of like second fiddle. So I want to know for you, though, with everything that was going on and you basically needed to win in order to assure yourself a chance at Homestead, which win was bigger? Was it getting your first career win, or was this win bigger knowing what's at stake for the end of this season?
Honestly, I think your first win's always special, but I think this one feels a lot better just because it was so close. I don't know if I've ran a race like that before where I was running second and then had to, pass somebody in the last lap, but it was it feels good. I mean, I think those guys gave me a great car at Homestead, so I think they were probably I was more up to them. I feel like I think they earned that win more than I did at Homestead, and I feel like it makes me feel like I kind of did my job today.
Good job. Well, congratulations, guys. Good luck.
Thank you.